Good afternoon. Today is March 12th, 2019. Today we will be reviewing a few things for KPMIC partner users on this refresher training. So what we're looking at right now is the agenda. So we'll go through setting up a vendor or install team access. As a reminder, those users that you set up with that limited access, either as an external or install team user, are included with your license that you're already paying for as a partner. We'll also go through delivery tickets as well as potential cost impacts. So I'll go ahead and jump over to Kinetech here. And where I am right now is on the vendor overview page, and that is accessed on the left-hand side menu with this vendors tab here. So click that. Come over here, and I set up a new vendor that we can use for today's example. And if you are setting up a new vendor, you can certainly just click the new button, but I figured it'd be better for us to start with a little bit of information already populated. So I'm going to go ahead and click into this vendor. And up here at the top, we'll go through this stuff section by section. So starting up here at the top, we have the company information. So there are really only two required fields, and that includes the company name and company type, and then you can fill out their address information as needed. So the first thing that I want to talk about here is the company type. So I've selected subcontractor for this company since they're an installation team, but there are several other options in this dropdown. And the two that I want to highlight are the architect and the general contractor. These two I'm highlighting because they serve a specific purpose within Kinetech. When submitting an order to DIRT, there is always a requirement to have an architect or general contractor. So if you're looking for your architect or general contractor when you are assigning them to your project or to a specific order, you will need to make sure that your vendor is set up with that correct company type so that they flow through, because Kinetech, the application needs to have something to look at, so you're not looking at literally all of your vendors, and what it looks at is this company type. So the next thing here, we have employees of company, and we're going to go into some depth on that, but the piece over here is the active and completed projects, and this also serves as a quick reference for the projects that your vendor will have access to. So when you do set up individual employees of the company and you assign them to projects that you want them to submit items for via the mobile application or what have you, the projects that they'll have access to are the ones assigned to here. So just to reiterate, when you set up a new vendor for access to Kinetech, they will not have access to all projects, but only ones that you have assigned them to. And this is a handy place to be able to view exactly which projects they do have access to. Then down here at the bottom, we have included company notes. So if there's anything that you want to just add a note for, like if it's your preferred install team or your preferred glass vendor, whatever the case may be, you can include that in the company notes down here. So the next thing that I want to touch on is setting up a vendor employee for access to Kinetech. So what we're going to do is we're going to click new here, and we're just going to call this vendor John Installation. The title will say Install Team Lead. Email, I'll go ahead and punch in mine. You can have their phone number as well as an office phone number if applicable. Over here, we do have the example account set up, so if you ever need a little bit more on this, you can view it right here. I think the most relevant things, because the rest is relatively self-explanatory, are down here for the user role. There are two that you can set up for your external vendors. The first is that external vendor role. So the user role is set by default and should be used for the vast majority of businesses you interact with. So that's going to have the more limited access, but it will include things like tasks, just as an example. your installation team, this is going to have a little bit more access to the projects, and that's going to include things like status reports or punch list items. They would be able to access those things from mobile so that they can take pictures and submit items to your projects as needed. So I'm going to go ahead and add that install team user role. So click add, we get this pop-up, add the installation team. And now it's really all set. The key here is to make sure to click the save and email user button versus just the regular save. When you click save and email user, it'll send an email, an automated email that will allow the recipient to set up a password for their account. So I'll go ahead and click that. And one just quick note here is that for each partner, of course, your instance of Kinetech is going to be unique to yourself. So if there are other DIRT partners in your area, your vendor employees would still need to be set up for yourself individually. So they're only going to have access if you set them up, and then to the projects that you have listed here on the right that they are assigned to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click into the Spurs Tim's Office project, and I'm going to add this this new user that we have set up here. So just as a reminder, we go over here to the Team tab, and there are 3 different new buttons here to add employees or contacts to your project team. The one we're going to use is this first one, just the regular new button. The next one is to add a partner user, and the one after that is for a DIRT user. So we'll click this one, and we should find the vendor employee that we just added, and here he is. So we added him here, and then if the vendor is not already added to the project partners, so this is all of the companies that are on the project team, it will automatically be added when you add an employee. The last note here is just to make sure to click save once you're done to make sure that your project team is saved. The next thing that we're going to take a look at is delivery tickets. So delivery tickets can be found under the project management tab. And I'd like to say for new users that as a rule of thumb, if you can't find what you're looking for on this top bar of items, then go to the project management tab. This is really the only place that has sub-tabs underneath it, and this is going to have a lot of your project management tools. So we'll navigate over here to this delivery tickets tab within it. And I've got one created here that we'll take a look at. And there's a couple of reasons that you might create a delivery ticket. The first, and I think more common reason, is to have a verification that that the day's activities were completed or that items were delivered. And then I think the other reason is you can also create a delivery ticket ahead of time, and that helps you internally track all the details about what your delivery window is, what the requirements for your delivery are. So up here at the top, I'm going to start with the different tabs here, and then we'll just step through section by section on this main tab. So as a note, you do have a related images tab, and then also a related documents tab. As a side note, you can also access delivery tickets via mobile, so you can take pictures as needed, and you'll have them here. And just as a reminder, since Kinetech is a web-based application, all of this stuff will show up in real time if you have someone out in the field who has taken a picture and submitted it. So the first section here is just for all of your delivery ticket information. The numbering is automatic. If you have a work order number, maybe that's generated by another internal system that you use, you can apply that here. Or if it's related to a vendor's work order number, you can also apply that. Then the next thing we have is the labor type. So there's 3 different types of labor. So quoted labor, hourly labor, or warranty labor. In this case, we've selected warranty labor. And then we also have the status. So you can have in progress, confirmed, or completed. The next we have a title. Usually just recommend that you put in a meaningful title. So if you have multiple delivery tickets, you know which one you're looking at. The next we have your lead PM, and this can be selected from any of the partners who are on your project team. The next couple of sections here, the first is for your customer information. This is going to be pre-populated based on your job site, so what's on your project information page, but you can update it here as needed. The next is we also have our project location. In this, you can select from this dropdown that's common to other places within the application. So job site, this is going to pull from your project information page. Warehouse, this is going to pull from the My Company section, and that is from the waffle icon up here in the top right. So if you have multiple warehouses, which we do in this training environment, you'll get this pop up here, and you can select the appropriate location. Next, we have the install team warehouse. So when we were looking at vendors and filling out that address information, when you select install team warehouse, that is the address information that would pull through here. So the idea is for you to be able to type something in once, and then ideally, once you have it typed in, you can always just pull it into your projects as needed without having to rekey that information, because we know your time is valuable, and we want to make sure that we're saving you as much time as we can. So we'll pull in this one. And then getting down here to our delivery ticket information, this is really where the meat of the information comes in. So you can pick your warranty date. We'll just pick it for Thursday. We can pick our site contact. That's going to be from anyone on our project team. You can see their information will pull through here. And this will also be included on the documents that you can generate from the system here. And then next, we have the scope. And I think this is where really the bulk of your information will end up going. Just as a little tip here, if you see this, these little lines here in the bottom right corner, that means you can expand this. So if you do have a lot of information here in this middle section, you can expand that as needed so you can see more of what you have typed out. For warranty, we do have this problem description, so you can fill out as much detail as you need here as well. And then down here, we have a number of things to fill out. So first, we've got repaired on site, and then are there shop cuts or field cuts? What is the truck size? Is the stair carry going to be required? Next, we have, will plans be provided? Yes, and you can say when or where they will be provided. Then down here, we have a section for hours, any types of cuts, quantity of cuts, and then well as return product, job complete, or ASF. A couple of quick notes on our options down here at the bottom. We can create our Word document, or we can create a PDF. The one difference between the two is your PDF would contain your signature if you have had someone sign it. And then we can also sign it here. So I'll go ahead and reset the signature there. And when we sign it, make sure to just do it all in one motion. And again, this can be done via mobile as well. So if you have a tablet and someone on the job site, you can have them just sign on that tablet. And then once you're good to go, you can create your PDF if you need to provide a hard copy, or you can send an email, or simply save it if it's just for your records. So we'll take a quick look at what this PDF looks like. And it should be pretty familiar. A lot of the documents will really have a similar format from document to document. So you've got your logo up here at the top, your address in the top right, and then all of your delivery ticket information all the way through, finishing with our signature down here at the bottom. All right, so that's it for delivery tickets. The next section that we'll take a look at are potential cost impacts. So before we jump into potential cost impacts, wanted to just talk a little bit about why you would use a potential cost impact. So we know that unexpected things can happen when a job is actually going into its installation phase, or anything else that might come up throughout the course of a project. So a potential cost impact is a place for you to be able to track all of those items that may or may not end up impacting the bottom line of your project. So this, I think one of the big values to our partners is that Kinetech can really become a single point of information for your projects. So having this here versus in your email versus written down on a sheet of paper versus someone making a phone call to you or text, whatever the case might be. You can have them here, and this will be a central point of information. So anyone working on the project can come in here and access and know what's going on with the project. So a PCI being a potential cost impact, let's say for this example that the delivery team has showed up on site, but the actual delivery area is obstructed because another delivery is taking place at the same time and they're not able to offload stuff. So we'll just say delivery is obstructed. In your description, the person submitting it can include as much detail as needed. So if they need to say, the delivery was supposed to take place at noon, but didn't end up happening until 4 p.m., they can include all of that information here. So we'll just go with that as the example. So we'll just say that it's been done in-house, so it's direct labor, so it's extra hours. We'll say that there was 3 people on there for an extra 4 hours each, so 12 hours. And we'll say their rate was $86. If a person doesn't have any of this information, that's no problem. The potential cost impact here is really just a first step so that you have it tracked in here so that you can figure out what the next step is when working through this item. So I think the biggest benefit of a potential cost impact is that once you have it captured, you can convert it into what you need to, being a change order request, a billable, or a deficiency. So for those of you who are not familiar, COR is a change order request, so that's something that would be covered by the client. A billable can be billable to the partner or to the subcontractor, so that's going to be a margin hit to one of those two parties, or a deficiency. So a deficiency can also start out as a PCI and then be converted into a deficiency from here. So in this case, we'll just go ahead and we'll create a billable from this one, and we'll just step through that process here. Before I do, just as a reminder, of course, you do have a section for related images and related documents, and because this is available via mobile, you can have people take a picture on the job site using their mobile device or tablet and really give you the context that you need. So we'll go ahead and create this billable. It says one billable was created from PCI number 6. So we'll navigate over here to this Deficiencies and Billables tab. And the column that I'm going to take a look at is this PCI number column. So we're looking for PCI number 6, and we can see it right here. So we know this is going to be our related billable from that PCI. So I'll go ahead and double click to open it up here. And we can see that there is that breadcrumb trail of items from it. So it says reference PCI number 6, delivery is obstructed, and then the details include the description that we had included in our line item. And then those dollar values in quantity transferred over here to the bottom line. So right now, the assumption is that the partner is covering the cost for this billable item. If it does need to be something that a vendor will cover, you just simply flip over this responsible for payment slider to yes. I do want to point out that it is this slider here versus selecting the responsible party. So picking the vendor is important, and that'll help you track exactly what you need to as far as this goes. But do want to make sure that it is clear that this is what the system is going to look at to know whether or not it's going to take this billable from your project financials or not. So right now we have a billable total of $106,000 here. So by flipping this responsible for payment over to yes, I would expect it to drop by about $1,000. So it should drop down to 105 when I click save here. And there we go. Just another couple of quick notes on billables. You can see the total billable total here, and then we can see the one that matches the top total because this is the ones that are paid for by the DP. And then naturally the ones that are going to hit the subcontractor's bottom line are here, but not included in this total because this is the total for what affects the partner. So I think that's what we wanted to cover as far as PCIs. And as a reminder, you can convert it over into a change order request if it's something the client's going to be covering, or you can convert it over into a deficiency if you need that. I guess as a last note here, you can also create a PCI log. This is a document that you can use to review your open PCIs if you do have a meeting on a project and want to have something where you can just go through them one by one, go through their status, when they'll be resolved, and all of that good stuff.